Hey guys, and welcome back to PXH, also known as PureXHeart. Chris here, as usual, back again with a album review. And guys, before we get started, make sure you guys hit down that like button and also comment down below what you guys thought about this review and everything, and down below. And honestly, guys, of how you guys are really doing. I want to know. How are you guys? Yeah, I'm doing great. For those that ask, or those that can. But before we get started, and before anything else, but after you guys hit the like on this video, and also comment down below what you guys thought about this album, and also after you guys hit that subscribe button and that notify bell so you guys can be updated for new videos for those that have not yet hit that stuff. And so while you guys are having that time, make sure you guys check out the TeeSpring store where you can get cool swag like this, and also check out the podcast. More on that just a little bit later, as usual, within these videos. If nothing else, let's get into it. Flourish is the first full-length album, kind of, from former lead singer of 10th Avenue North, because they disbanded last year, Mike Donehey. He's also Nashville-based, for those that want to know. For 10th Avenue North, I've actually listened to them, quite regularly. They weren't my favorite CCM type of band. You can actually listen to more of my thoughts about 10th Avenue North on the PureXHeart Podcast. Link of that down in the description, where we actually have a retrospective of 10th Avenue North. So whenever we found out that Mike Donehey is gonna have a full-length album, we were just like, yeah, might as well hit this up and check it out, and why not? And it's really enjoyable for my initial thoughts. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed this album. It's a weird album just because, unlike most 10th Avenue North songs, it does have that little flair again. So for those that are just like, but I like the sound of 10th Avenue North, that sound's still in there. It's still in there. However, for those that aren't really a fan of a lot of 10th Avenue North songs, just because they're a little bit sappy and a little bit like just going through the motions and are really, really slow, this album is actually surprisingly not. It's kind of a little bit more of a upbeat type of album. I enjoy that, Obviously, as I'm saying this, as I'm already getting myself into this album very quickly, unlike most times where I just meander in the beginning and then now talk about the album. We like to do things a little bit different here on the PureXHeart Podcast time and time again. Change it up a little bit. But yes, for Flourish, thinking of the title, it has a weird connotation in my mind, just because, flourish, at least in today's society, means to, get a lot of money, get a lot of richness inside. And so I was always like, okay, so this is probably about, it has a weird title, weird connotation for a Christian. And until you actually listen to this album, you're just like, well, maybe is that what he's saying? Then again, you kind of look at the album title and just like, well, maybe it's not really about flourishing in that type of sense. Maybe it's a type of other flourish. And if you guys know Mike Donehey, as in interviews and all that type of stuff, there's been stories about him just of how he's like a really, really great person and a really, really strong a spiritual leader, and that's really great. I really enjoy that. Just being a strong, spiritual person. It's really, really cool. I love it. I love to see that type of stuff. But to actually get into some of this album with starting off with Standing at the Edge of My World is just a nice way to kick off this album, and kind of the nice way to kick off the Mike Donehey solo era. It's fun. I enjoy it. I just enjoy the nice little guitar riff at the beginning where it's just like doon 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 doon, and I enjoy that. It kind of gets you into the mindset of this album. It's not a terribly bad song. For this album, it's close enough where this could easily be on the radio, but it's also like this also could not be on the radio. This is like weird. It's a weird album to really decide. To draw comparison to the Matt Hammett album from last year, who is also a fan of the PXH brand. Hello, Matt. If you watch this, that'd be cool. With that album, it again could easily be on the Christian radio, but I don't think that it was, or maybe a few songs were there and there. But this one has more of a potential to be actually on to Christian radio. It's really weird, and it's so weird because it has this total CCM vibe, but it's not necessarily a bad album. It's weird. It's a lot in the world. It totally has those CCM flares within there. For example, the song All Together screams, this is good, like, which is the lead single, screams CCM vibes. It's weird. And then you actually have some other good songs with Unity Hymn, which is ending out this album, which is a nice way to end out this album. Just be like, hey, why aren't we having unity? Jesus would look at this and be like, bruh, what the world? But you already know this, Jesus. One of my favorites off this album, which is Breathe In, Breathe Out. I really just enjoy it's just something about that song that just gives us a very, very soothing vibe. Every time that I listen to it, I'm just like, I really, really like this song. And I'm just like, oh, okay, this is the song I already go back to. And it's like the second to last song, and I'm just like, wow, we're already almost finished with this album. That's kind of really cool. Which for this album, it's not a very, very long album. It's 11 songs, and it's a little bit under 40 minutes. Really nice breeze by album. I really enjoyed it, and that's why I think that I kind of enjoy this album, because not every song stays out, overstays their welcome, which is great. It's just a nice breeze on by, and it's just like, kind of wish there was a little bit more. I felt like I was able to get a lot of my full within this album. So honestly, with this album, check out this album. Why not? It's a weird vibe within the CCM, because a lot of these songs could be on like the Christian radio, and I mean, you guys know how I feel about Christian radio. Yeah, it's there. They play some good songs, but then they overplay those songs, and it's just like, or then they play some bad songs, and then they overplay those songs, so it's just like, this album, it's not a bad album. I like Mike Donehey. I like the way that he's going out with some of his music. This is very, very nice upbeat. It has a different vibe. It's not as slow as some TAN or 10th Avenue North songs or albums necessarily. There's, some really good lyrics in here, some good music choices, not too overly produced. However, some songs can be a tad overly produced, but that's the CCM world, so there's that. But as other songs go, it's actually, or as I should say, as other albums go, this is actually not a bad album, and one that you guys should definitely check out, or at least kind of follow Mike Donehey. He's a really good Christian, so you just look up stories under here. I was actually reading one review, and then down below I had some comments of just honestly of just how he's really good person, and that he kind of shines the light of Christ, which is really, really cool. And it's really, really nice to see that, especially with a CCM artist, which is wild for me to actually even say that, or just honestly any Christian artist. It's kind of interesting. We're awful people, so there's that. I hope you guys actually listen to this album. It's actually not a bad album, and one that's just like, that kind of lightened my day. Nice. With that, if you guys would leave a like down onto this video, and also comment down below what you guys thought about this album, and also what Christian albums or whatever you guys want me to review, or even stuff to react to. You guys put it down in those comments, or whatever, you know. With this stuff, it can be music, movies, or even topics. And for topics, if you guys want more of the little flavor in this, it's like, oh, what does Chris think about this? Or, oh, I want him to talk about this. Then, as you guys saw with that promo not that long ago, like 30 seconds to a minute ago, with the PureXHeart Podcast. So you guys check it out over there, and I get into depth with some of the topics, and we also talk about sometimes movies, and the shortened version of the movies reviews go on to here. Yes, I know some of those times that you look at the movie reviews, they're like 30 minutes long. Well, on to there, they're sometimes 2 hours long. Yes, see? Shortened. Also, if you guys are new here or a returning visitor and you haven't yet subscribed, then hit that subscribe button. What are you guys doing? Also, hit that notify bell. What are you guys doing by not hitting that stuff? You guys can be up to date with some new reviews onto our videos here on PXH. Again, also check out the swag. I enjoy it. It's very comfy. This is actually a very nice comfort fit. So, if nothing else, as obviously, go on with Jesus and change the culture. Boom. Bye.